So why are we so distracted these days? Is technology to blame? Do you ever find yourself distracting yourself with other things like cleaning your room or watching TV or going to get groceries instead of actually working on the things that you need to get done? If that's the case, how can we stop this from happening and make sure we actually dedicate the time we need to get the things done on our to-do list? Well, in this video, we're gonna cover exactly that. But before we get started, I would love to know, what is your biggest distraction? Let me know in the comments below. Now, this isn't a surprise to most of us, but our phones are actually the biggest distraction of them all. The constant dinging and the black hole of entertainment like social media can have us wasting hours of our day. Why? Because every single time our phone dings or we receive a message from someone, anything like that, we actually get a dopamine kick. And dopamine actually makes us happy. Have you seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma on Netflix? This documentary does a great job of explaining this whole process and why these social media apps are designed the way they are. So if you haven't checked out that documentary, make sure you head over to Netflix and watch that because it's really eye-opening. Basically, every single one of these social media apps are designed to distract us. They purposely set up the functionality of them to keep us on our phones for as long as possible, which makes getting things done on a daily basis really hard. Have you ever looked at your phone to see how much time you're actually spending on it and how much time you're wasting on social media? Check it out right now on your phone and see, because it's really eye-opening. So how can we put boundaries around our technology to stop this from happening, to stop us from wasting hours and hours of our day? Well, let's go through 8 different ways that I have found to be really helpful. The first one is to plan out your day. And by planning out your day, I don't mean just writing a to-do list, because a lot of times that's what people think when they think of planning out their day. They're like, oh, well, I'm gonna create a long list of 20 things that I need to get done tomorrow. But really, that just makes us more overwhelmed. And then that distraction trigger of like, oh, well, laundry needs to get done or shopping needs to get done takes precedent, because our to-do list, when we look at it, just makes us feel overwhelmed, right? Has this ever happened to you? It's definitely happened to me. So plan out your day, but not with a to-do list. What I actually want you to do is plan out your day according to your calendar, okay? And I have another video on my channel here all about time blocking. So after you watch this video, make sure to head over to that one to learn how I time block my calendar. And I'll make sure to link it in the YouTube cards above here for you. But time blocking your calendar and planning out your day according to your calendar is going to make you feel less overwhelmed, because you're gonna see that there's actually time on your day allotted to all of the things that you need to get done. So you can create an initial list of, I need to get these 5 things done, but then I want you to take that over to a calendar and actually plan it out in your day. So if you need to write social media posts, I want you to block off an hour of your day and say, okay, I'm gonna be writing these social media posts, these captions, from 10 to 11 tomorrow. Then you're saying, okay, well, I need to pick up my son from soccer practice, and that happens from 4 to 4:30. Time block that in your calendar. If you need to go get groceries, maybe that's from 5 to 5:30, right? So then you're gonna actually have dedicated times to each of the things that you need to get done, and that makes sure that they actually happen and that you're not distracted by social media or by other things, because you know that that needs to get done at that specific time. The next thing is prioritizing your health. So diet, sleep, exercise, these 3 things are vital to your productivity and also to how well you focus on the things that you need to get done. Because you can be super distracted if you're hungry, right? The grumbling in our stomach distracts us from the thing that we need to be focused on, the things that we need to get done. Same thing if we're thirsty, if we're dehydrated, right? We're gonna feel gross, we're gonna feel sluggish. And when you feel sluggish, you're not motivated to get things done, right? So we wanna make sure that we are well rested, well hydrated, we have a good diet, feeding our body things that are healthy, all these things. There's so much science behind this, you guys, about eating healthy and how it fueling your body properly is actually going to increase productivity, okay? The third thing is using social media at set times of the day. So we already talked about time blocking your schedule, right? With the things that need to get done, the things on your to-do list, but the same thing needs to go for social media. So whether you use social media for your personal life or for your business, we need to set boundaries around it, because like we said earlier in this video, it is a huge time warp, right? I found myself logging into TikTok to check a notification, and then 3 hours later, I've gone down a huge rabbit hole of TikTok, right? I'm sure we've all been there, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. They are so much to distract us, and they are literally designed to distract us. So we need to put boundaries around them. So if you need to check your notifications, do that at set periods of time. So whether that's in the morning, afternoon, evening, whatever works for you, but make sure you're time blocking it and setting time specifically. So whether that's 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever works for your schedule. For me personally, I set a time usually right after supper when I'm watching TV. I'll scroll through social media and engage with my followers. I'll do all that stuff that it needs to get done. That's really time consuming, right? But I'm doing it at a time where I'm relaxing, I'm watching a TV show, and it's not eating into the other things that I need to get done the rest of the day. So think of a time that may work for you, okay? And set that time aside every single day. The same thing goes for your email. So email can be another huge distractor. Lots of people keep their email open all day long, and every single time an email comes in, they find themselves distracted and they keep looking over at the tab and to check their email, right? And this can be a huge distraction, and it's actually a very unproductive habit. So if your job doesn't need you to be constantly on your email, again, create time slotted periods throughout the day for you to check your email. Even if that's 3 or 4 times, that's perfectly fine, but just set that time aside so that you can do it in between your tasks, not get distracted while you're in the middle of a task. Okay, the fourth tip is get yourself a time cube. So this time cube is amazing, and it's increased my productivity so much. So basically what it is that on each side, so there's a 30 minutes, a 60 minutes, 15 minutes, and a 20 minutes. And it has a little timer on the bottom here. And basically what needs to happen is that I'll allot a certain amount of time to get a task done. So let's say I'm writing social media posts, right? And I say, okay, it's gonna take me about an hour to write my month of social media captions. What I'll do is I'll set the timer to 60, so the 60 goes up, and I'll put it up on my desk. And that starts the 60-minute timer so that I know that I need to stay focused on this task for 60 minutes. And as soon as the buzzer goes off, I can stop what I'm doing. Regardless if I'm done the social media post or not, I'm gonna stop, take a break, and then reset again, okay? And this has been proven to help productivity so much because you have a certain amount of time that you need to get something done, right? If you know you only have 30 minutes or 15 minutes or 1 hour to complete a task, you're gonna be super focused on it, okay? And so try this out for yourself. This guy is about $10 on Amazon. I'll make sure to link it in the YouTube description below this video for you, but it really is a really great way to get more things done and be super focused when it comes to your tasks. And it's kind of fun, right? You kind of set a game for yourself of how many things can I get done in this short amount of time, okay? And the one key with this is that once the timer does go off, you really do need to take a break because your brain has been really focused for that certain amount of time that it needs a time to kind of relax and then reset again. Okay, the fifth thing is stop multitasking. This is a really big one, and I struggle with this one a lot, and I think a lot of women do, right? We pride ourselves on being great multitaskers, right? We put on that kind of badge of honor that we can do a million things at once. But the truth is that no one can, okay? Our brains are designed to be able to focus on one thing at a time. And it's not that you can't multitask, right? You probably can multitask. I can multitask, but it's not efficient, right? We're not actually giving all of our focus to that one thing, and it's not efficient because our mind is split in so many different ways that it's taking us longer to get those things done, and we're not getting them done as well because we're split in our focus, right? So try just focusing on one thing at a time and use that time cube that we talked about earlier to focus just on those one task at a time. And test it out. Do a time study and see how much more productive you are in a day when you don't multitask versus when you do multitask. Okay, so the sixth one is reducing the amount of time you spend online on your computer. So we talked about how our phones are distracting, right? And how social media can be distracting. But scrolling online and on websites can be distracting as well, right? So how can you stop this? Well, there's a great website out there called Rescue Time, and you can actually download it to your computer, and it'll actually block the amount of time that you can actually spend on certain websites. So I definitely would recommend checking that out. Again, I will link it in the description below for you. Number 7 is clear your workspace. So when our workspace is cluttered or messy or dirty, it really kind of clutters our mind. We're very visual human beings, And so when we feel like we're in a very cluttered space, our mind is going to feel cluttered as well. So really clear your space, make sure everything is neat and tidy. When you finish with one task, take those tools away. If you have certain things out to finish that task, put them away and clear it for the next task that you need to do. This is going to help your productivity a lot as well and help you to stay focused and not get distracted by all the other things around you. This goes for the actual physical space you're in as well. So if you've ever tried working in bed before or working at your kitchen table, something like that, you might find yourself a little bit more distracted, right? Because there's people walking around or your bed is just really comfortable. So instead of working at those kind of places within your home, try to create a space that's specifically for work. Regardless if you have an office or not, you can put a desk or a table at one corner of the room and make that your workspace, right? The thing here is that you're not using a space that you use for personal or for relaxation, but that you're actually creating a space where you know when you sit down that it's time to work. And finally, the last tip is to get things out of your head. So have you ever found yourself thinking about another project while you're working on another project? Or maybe you're in the shower and you're constantly thinking about the things you need to get done, or you're trying to fall asleep at night and you have this running to-do list in your mind, right? This happens to me all the time, and it's really, really hard to stay focused when you're constantly thinking about all the other things that you need to get done. So get those thoughts out of your head and onto a piece of paper or onto an app or onto, a notebook. Any way that works for you to get those thoughts out of your mind onto a piece of paper or onto something is going to be beneficial for you, because then you know that it's somewhere for you to reference back to and you don't have to constantly be thinking about it. So there you go. Those are my 8 tips for you to stop getting distracted so you can get things done. But what is the harm of distraction, right? You might be thinking, not a big deal, we all get distracted. What's the harm of it? Well, when someone is distracted during a task, it can actually take up to 20 minutes for their brain to refocus on what they were doing. So think about how many times in a day you're getting distracted by things around you and how much time you're actually wasting trying to get your brain focused again on the task. If you can try to avoid some of those distractions, you're going to be so much more productive. And at the end of the day, the less time you spend working, the more time you have with your family and on things you enjoy. And who doesn't want that, right? So try out some of these little things to try to improve your productivity throughout the day. Let me know in the comments below which one of these 8 tips you're going to try in your life. And if you're looking for another way to grow your business online and generate consistent leads through YouTube, make sure to click the link below this video to save your seat for my free masterclass where I teach you how to create a video lead machine in your business. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.